Welcome back to Fire Emblem Engage. Last time, yeah. Death. But now, we're gonna have a little bit of a breather.
We ought to establish a base of operations before we begin our journey.
Because we'll be moving out to save an entire kingdom, and we'll need a more organized base for that.
The Somniel would be uniquely useful.
A little out of the way, isn't it?
Yes, like thousands of feet in the sky.
I can't imagine how we'd get everyone there and back.
As a divine dragon, you can travel there no matter where you are in the world.
Oh yeah, that would have been convenient to know earlier.
I can?
Indeed. Furthermore, one can only enter the Somniel with a divine dragon's power. Without Queen Lumera's blessing, even we stewards couldn't have set foot there. That is what makes it a safe haven.
So it kind of works exactly like a magnificent mansion in Dungeons & Dragons. Only people like the owner of it designates can enter.
Well then, yes. Let's use it as our base. But before we depart, can you give me a moment? We'll be gone a while, so I'd like to say goodbye to my mother.
Of course. Take as much time as you need.
Thank you for watching over me all this time. This journey will be a long one. But don't worry. Vander and the others will be right beside me. I will fulfill my duty as the Divine Dragon. I will find all of the rings, just as you asked. And then, I'll return to you, Mother. I promise. Here we are, safely returned to the Somniel. I didn't realize how spacious this place was.
It is rather quiet, I know. But it will liven up as we gain allies. We may need someone to supply us with equipment as well. Something to consider.
Nah, where are those merchants from Path of Radiance where you need them?
Right.
Oh, by the way, Divine One, might this be yours?
A piece of jewelry. I don't recognize it. The crystal looks unusual. Where did you get this?
On the ground in the ring vault, after the siege. I thought it might be yours, but apparently I was mistaken. No one has come forward, so it must have belonged to an enemy soldier. I'll dispose of it.
Wait. It's familiar somehow, even though I've never seen it.
Then please, do take it. Perhaps it will help jog your memory.
I mean, it is half red, half blue. That's kind of a recurring motif around Aaliyah.
Thank you, Vander. Once we've rested for a bit, let's set out for Firene.
But resting can be productive in Fire Emblem Engage, and we're about to find out how. Yeah, our forces are growing a little bigger, but it's still not really enough to make this place a real home. The Somniel. Your base uses this area to prepare for the next battle and interact with your allies. Additional activities and areas of the Somniel will unlock as you progress through the story. It's going to be pretty bare bones for now. Open the world map to continue your adventure, access it from the menu, or by using the exit in the plaza. So, one thing that often confuses me about the Somniel is that if you press the X button, you get this fast travel map of the Somniel, but this is not the actual Somniel menu. In order to get that, you have to press the start button, or the plus button. And here we have access to a few things, but before we go over these, let's check here because this is going to show what's new. We have My Room, Bulletin Board, and Music Box. All of them are right in front of us. Firstly though,
You see,
allies wear different outfits in the Somniel, and you will gain the ability to customize these later, though unfortunately these don't actually show up in battle. I sort of wish they did.
Yes.
People who have a blue speech bubble in the Somniel, these are characters who have something new to say. Not everyone will have something new to say every chapter, and I do kind of like that because it prevents things from getting too overwhelming.
If I may.
I too find it easier to relax when I wear a monocle. You might notice that gift option there. Also, whenever you get a new ally, you want to talk to them in the Somniel at least once, because that will unlock their page in the ally notebook. We can also gain some resources by examining glowing spots in the Somniel. And so if we go up here, we can find some spots over here. We also have an animal paw icon. The pretty pebble is something you are able to gift to allies. Eggs! Those aren't giftable to allies. And the stable is locked up for now. There's nothing really to see around here besides SEA.
Oh!
She looks like she's basically wearing her regular outfit, just a little bit less embellished. And nothing for us up there, except a mysterious well that we'll deal with later. Heading over here, we can pass through this garden. And up here we have Boucheron. Hi there.
Ah!
You know what?
Ah!
Let's show off the gift feature. Boucheron's pretty cool, so let's give him a pretty pebble.
Thank you.
That increases support points, but only between Alear and that ally. Alear's supports are relatively easy to get increased. You can also find items like that, and if you try and gift them to people, well, I don't want to have to do that to, like, Clan or Fram or... Ugh. I'm gonna have to show giving that to someone. Also, we get...
Nuts!
Clearly Gordon was here. Orange. And the orchard usually has some fruit items for you to pick up. Okay, so you have a yellow icon over your head, which means that you have a support with Alear unlocked.
Right. Yes.
You can do supports from here, but I prefer to do support somewhere else that I'll be showing in a moment. Okay, this is where that other glowing spot was. It's more
Nuts!
I haven't talked to Sigurd yet. I'm gonna do that in a moment, because I want to explain what's new in the Somniel first. And that is this area. I like that Lethos emblem on the door there. So this is, it'll probably explain it to us, the Cafe Terrace. Hi there, female Alear. We're not using you in this playthrough. It's a relaxing communal space with access points to other facilities. Other facilities that will be very, very useful later, but not quite now. The music box lets you change the background music. I actually forgot you could do that. The bulletin board is really, really important, though. This is the main thing that I wanted to show here. First thing, go to the bulletin board, examine it, go to achievements, and press the ZR button to claim all. We now have 260 bond fragments. The first time I played this game, I did not realize you could claim achievements for bond fragments until after the final chapter. I am not kidding. If I had known about that, my first playthrough would have been would have got a lot better, for a lot of reasons, because you need bond fragments a lot. So yeah, you generally get these achievements for just playing the game. They're pretty easy to unlock, and they'll give you a steady stream of bond fragments, so I'd recommend checking the bulletin board every single time you return to the Somniel. We also have this feature. We can invest in various countries to gain both gifts and increase the resource yield of those countries after exploring in battle. With a high enough donation battle, the country will be so rich that it will be attacked more often by more powerful enemies. Either that or you're investing in bandits and corrupted somehow. And you can get experience and gold, like bonuses like that. Personally, I don't play a lot of skirmishes in Engage. I find the game is generally manageable without them. And on Maddening mode, skirmishes are incredibly rare. And the few that do exist are very difficult. But okay then, we can donate money to Firene, and oh, we're poor, we can't do that. This is a thing about Engage. Engage, it's very hard to get money in this game. And donations are very, very expensive. Annoyingly, donations are also the only way that you can access some of the ultimate weapons, which, yeah, that means it's kind of hard to show those off. I'll try, but yeah, money is very, very tight in this game, and overall, there's a couple of countries I'd recommend investing in, but for the most part, I think it's more efficient to save your money for weapons and forging. We don't even have any songs unlocked in here. Now, this area, the arena, is going to be very useful eventually, but it's not open just yet. So for now, we can check out the only other area on the Somniel that we have access to, and that is my room. This is your room, the place where you've been for 1,000 years, so that bed must be kind of filthy. Yeah, select rest and take a nap to advance time. Yeah, sometimes the positions of, like, allies in the Somniel changes based on what time of day it is. It's mostly cosmetic, though. And also, sometimes when you rest in your room, you can engage in the ancient pastime of face-looking. And you can also review support conversations and movie scenes. You can't actually do this from the main menu, you can only do this from within a file. Now, you can lower the difficulty, but you cannot ever raise the difficulty, which is unfortunate. I do wish the difficulty was a little more flexible, because, you know, maddening's kind of cool, but sometimes I prefer to play the later chapters on hard rather than maddening. It looks like something important belongs here, but we don't know what that is. And the only other thing we can do here is go to bed or change difficulty. But yeah, with Reminiscence, we can check on Wake Up. We can check on movies. So basically, this contains both in-engine and CG cutscenes, which is cool. And there's already quite a lot of these unlocked. And you can also do basically a sound test, which is great. And you can review support conversations. Firstly, though, let's go to bed. Oh, nobody came for face looking. Let's try again. Okay, I've been doing this for like 4 times. Could somebody please come and look at Aaliyah's face? Oh, actually, you might have to have at least a C support with them. That would make sense. And that's a perfect segue into support conversations. So if we press start to access the Somniel map here, you can go to the storehouse to check all of the gift items that you have, Somniel map, do options. Weirdly, support is under reference, and I don't think it should be. We can also, no wait, I'll check the ally notebook later, because if we do support, already we have some supports unlocked between Aaliyah and Clan and Vander. I wonder if I'll be able to unlock a support with Fram if I give her a gift, though. Oh, okay, she's on the Lookout Ridge. I better get this out of the way now, because later on, I will not be able to come to Lookout Ridge for reasons.
You see?
Oh, that's the only gift I have. No, I'm not going to be that cruel. So, okay, then, I guess we're going to have to see their supports a little later. It's a shame, because Aaliyah's C support with Fram is hilarious, as you could probably expect.
Divine One, what are you doing?
Oh, hello, Clan.
I was just going to bed here repeatedly, hoping one of you would look at my face. That's not creepy at all.
I was just tidying up a bit. Tomorrow's a busy day, so I thought I'd get it out of the way now.
Well, let me take care of that. You should get some rest.
That's all right. I can handle it.
No, that won't do. I'm gonna have to insist.
But...
Please. You know, I waited a long time for you to wake up. And not just me. The stewards before me spent their whole lives waiting.
This, I still just, like, it must suck to have been all those stewards.
Now, after 1,000 years, I get to serve you. It's like a miracle. So, please, let me do it. Honestly, truly, I would be honored to help.
Very well. You've convinced me. I'll leave it to you.
Thank you, Divine One.
I should be thanking you for taking such great care of me. I'm very lucky to have you as a steward.
You mean it? Oh, man, I'm so happy I can faint!
Please don't. Now that I'm free from tidying up, I'm going to get some rest.
And then one of you can look at my face. So our first C support. Supports do increase, some of your combat parameters, but only if you're adjacent to your support partner, and support bonuses are kinda low in Engage. Every character is divided into a support category, and I'll be displaying what Aleers and clans are now. And now it's time for a support with Vander.
I picked up the letters like you asked, Vander.
Ah, yes. Set them down over there, will you?
I know it's probably like written letters, but I just was kind of imagining Clan picking up like an A, B, C, and D that were just lying around on the ground.
I also brought a letter opener. Thought you might need it.
Very good, thank you. Clan, before I forget, will you deliver this package?
Oh. Yes, sir.
Answering letters. A man of my age should put his fighting hand to nobler purposes.
I mean, you already have a little bit. Just, you know, those timelines where you didn't get killed by chain attacks.
Is something the matter?
What? Oh, no. Everything's hunky-dory.
Well then, why are you standing there gawking? I told you to deliver that package.
Yes, sir.
On with it then. A faithful servant of the Divine Dragon wastes no time.
If you gave me some real steward work to do, maybe I'd take it more seriously.
Pardon?
Nothing! I'll deliver that package for you right away, sir.
So, Clan is clearly a little bit miffed about being the Divine Dragon intern right now, but I mean, everyone has to start somewhere. This is Vander's support type. And getting a support with somebody unlocks an extra page on them in the ally notebook, so let's see this. The ally notebook, I really like the way this looks. So we get basic info on the first page here. Watches over Aleer, who sleeps on Somniel, the floating island. We've got basic info on Clan there, but now that we have Aleer and Clans C, we have Clan page 2, which gives a little bit more info, and now we have like a silver stamp for him. You get one extra page for every support rank with Aleer. So there will be gold and then like one higher than gold as well for the A support. So the thing about supports in Engage is, the supports with the early characters, I will admit, are not that great. And especially the early Firene characters, their supports are not the best, as you'll probably be seeing throughout the next few videos. Additionally, there is the fact that supports in Engage are quite hard to raise. The main reason being that battle is actually one of the least efficient ways of raising support levels here. Only like the top 3 support pairs that fought together gain any support points at all, and even then it's a very small amount. It's fixed too. It doesn't matter how long they're adjacent to each other. Now, the arena is a much better way to gain support points between characters, but it's unreliable and we don't have access to it yet. But I will say, bear with the support system, because as we get more characters in the army, there are some very good supports in Engage, and I especially love the fact that Aleer is fully voice acted. That really makes them. But now that we've talked about everything we can in the Somniel for now, it's time to go over Sigurd as an emblem and how he works, because we're going to need to know that soon.
You know,
Emblem Sigurd is all about movements, and in a grid-based strategy game, movement is one of the most important things. He boosts his holders' dexterity, defense, and build while worn. The boost to build is particularly nice, it's something not a lot of emblems have. But what's also nice is, regardless of bond level, he also boosts move by 1. His first sync skill is Canter, which allows his holder to move 2 spaces after attacking, using an item, or taking some other normally turn-ending action. Unlike similar abilities in earlier Fire Emblem games, this isn't using up your leftover movement. This is always an extra 2 spaces, regardless of how long or short your move was. It's effectively 2 extra movement on top of what Sigurd already gives you, and it can be used for a ton of things, either to reposition yourself after attacking, get closer to other enemies, or to use an item or support ability and then duck back behind allies. At Bond 3, he gains Momentum. This boosts the damage of your first attack during combat by 1 for every space you moved before attacking, up to a maximum of 10. But plus 10 damage, especially early on, is insane, and it's not hard to reach that bonus with Sigurd's insane movements. At Bond 7, you get Headlong Rush. A simple skill, it makes you immune to the freeze status, which is inflicted by the freeze staff. I'll explain skill inheritance later, but this is one of the cheapest emblem skills to inherit, and therefore might as well not be a sync skill at all. But it's a skill I recommend inheriting on as many people as possible in the early chapters, because let's just say you are going to want it in chapter 11. All of that is just while synced with Sigurd. When engaged, you activate his skill Gallop, which is incredibly simple. It just gives plus 5 to movements, plus 6 if you're a dragon, and plus 7 if you're cavalry. Covert units, on the other hand, stick with the plus 5, but gain the ability to ignore terrain while moving.
Terrain tactics.
Depending on the map, this can be quite useful. This will all make sense later, but this is particularly good for chapters 12 and 16. Even Sigurd's engage attack helps you move further, allowing you to attack and move through a line of adjacent foes. A few things to remember about this ability. There needs to be an empty space on the other side of the enemies in order to use this. As long as there is one, there is no upper limit to the number of enemies you can move through. Theoretically, if there were 20 enemies all in a straight line, you could charge through and damage all of them with this skill. And finally, you get to canter after using this skill. For the class bonuses, dragons deal 20% more damage, armored and key adepts get a flat chance of breaking regardless of what weapon the enemy is using, 10% and 20% respectively, and mystical units don't base the entire attack off magic, but deal extra damage equal to 25% of their magic. This skill is useful for a few things. Firstly, it can let you kill weak enemies and damage stronger ones with the same action. Or for shish kebabbing multiple enemy cavalry with the Rider's Bane, Sigurd's first engage weapon. This is fairly heavy and its hit rate has issues sometimes, but it's effective against cavalry, and makes Override hilarious if you catch multiple of them in a line. Notably, there is a non-Sigurd Rider's Bane in Engage, and it's actually worse in every way. Though you need to be engaged with Sigurd to use his, so it's a trade-off. His Bond 10 engage weapon is the Brave Lance. A little weak and definitely shaky on the accuracy side, though Sigurd's skill inheritance can help with that. But it attacks twice when initiating combats. Remember that momentum will only apply to the first hit of the Brave Lance, but even with just that, it's enough to one-shot most enemies early on, and still be a respectable damage dealer even late into the game. If you've got a character and you're thinking, I could really use them halfway across the map right now, Sigurd is the emblem for you. And that should, well, I mean, I guess we can average it out by giving you a good gift and then showing off what happens if you do this.
What?
The only reason to give that to people is, and that's the only use the item even has, is just for their funny reactions. It doesn't like lower support points with them or anything, so don't worry. And there are two ways you can leave the Somniel. You can leave either from here, or you can depart from the menu here. Let's go.
Here we are, the Kingdom of Firene.
What a beautiful place.
Full of flat, static image flowers.
Isn't it? And no sign of the corrupted, so that's good.
Alfred, Lumera died because she tempted fate. Don't do the same thing.
That was quite a trip. Crossing the sea all the way from Lethos. I hope you're not worn out.
I'm fine.
Good, good. Listen, I'm sorry for twisting your arm to come with me.
Yeah, just a little earlier, that's another of these issues I have with the story in the early game. Again, like, it's like, we crossed the sea, and that's all just glossed over.
Alfred, it's all right. I wanted to come.
At the same time, though, I do like how the early cutscenes don't overstay their welcome and get to the battles quickly, because the battles are incredibly fun.
How about before we arrive at the castle, you tell me more about this kingdom of yours?
Happy to. Let's see. Firene is one of the 4 nations of Elios in the southwest. It's ruled by my mother, Queen Ev. We're known as a land of plenty.
Also a land of punctuation marks, or of pronunciation marks over letters.
Our people value peace above all else. We haven't seen war for centuries.
Again, don't tempt fate.
You must come from a long line of capable leaders.
That's kind of you to say. Peace doesn't always come easy. Mother had to hammer out a non-aggression pact with our neighbors. The pact says there won't be war between us, Solm, and Brodia.
Right. Solm, the Queendom of Freedom, and Brodia, the Kingdom of Might.
You've got it. Solm is an open-minded country. They've always had good relations with Firene. But an alliance with Brodia took some doing. Their king's an ambitious man. He's always launching attacks on Elusia to expand his own territory.
I also noticed Elusia was excluded from your pact.
I take it Elusia isn't in the Alliance.
You know, maybe that was a condition of allying with Brodia, if that's their enemy.
No. Honestly, they're so far away, we don't interact with them too much. We know it's snowy there, with long winters, and that some Elusians worship the Fell Dragon.
The Fell Dragon?
It's troubling, I know. But people can believe what they believe. Sorry, I didn't bring it up to turn you against Elusia.
It's not them I hate. It's the Fell Dragon. Him and the one who killed my mother. Can you tell me more about the Emblem ring that was entrusted to Firene?
Oh, sure. It's the Ring of the Caring Princess. Doesn't look like anything special.
Yeah, because being caring is just a generic trait to have that doesn't matter at all.
Until I met you and Marth, I thought the emblems were legends. I can't wait to tell my sister they exist. She'll really be knocked for a loop.
Oh, right, you have a sister.
You have a sister?
Yeah, the Princess of Firene, Saline. She's at the castle with Mother right now.
Like I said, a lot of accent marks over letters in Firene's names.
Princess Saline. I look forward to meeting her.
Just call her Saline. I'm sure you two will get along great.
More honorific talk that's awkward to localize.
Here's Flora Milltown. Castle's close now. We'll just cut through here and... Something's off.
What is it?
I think there might be trouble ahead.
You know, I get the feeling that we're going to be meeting that princess a little sooner than we expected. Right about...
Oh no.
The corrupted. They're everywhere.
And they have generic armors, not even boss armors.
I can't stand to see them overrunning this peaceful town. I have to drive them away. Divine One, will you help me?
Of course.
And it'll be a good chance to demo Sigurd, too. And right about now.
Danger looms from every side. I fear we will never make it to my brother.
Princess Saline, I beg you to make your retreat. We'll handle this.
More of the fiends might be on the way. Hurry! Louis, Chloe, you can't possibly expect me to.
It is our sworn duty to protect the princess. We will hold the line for you as long as we must.
You have to leave. If you should fall here, who warns Prince Alfred of the invasion to come? I concede the point, but I'll return for you both. Please hold out until then.
Apologies, Chloe. It pains me greatly to separate you from Princess Saline for even a relatively brief amount of time.
Might I say, I'm a bit disappointed I didn't get to see you run off with Her Highness yourself. A knight should never leave his princess's side.
The sooner we win, the sooner that will come to pass. What say you, Chloe? Shall we?
Yes, Let's!